What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Let me make sure my volume's up. Anyway, want to welcome y'all to Beyond the Ramp. That was our sponsor tonight. Well, we got two sponsors, but since it's a guys thing, and we're talking about alpha and beta. First sponsor of the video you just watched is me, Power Core Rods. And that is the Core Series, which is Boat Ramp 10. That's all caps, Boat Ramp 10. That'll get you 10% off that series. I'm working on some of the new hats, and I'll have a discount for those coming up. Also, Girls Fish Better. That's GFB Fishing. They also sponsor. That's also me. Right now through September 30th is you get 20% off the Obsession Series rods and the combos. And if you go to girlsfishbetter.com and type in GFB Fishing 20, you'll get 20% off the Obsession Series rods and the combos. Anyway, I'm going to start us off with a video and bring in the Cowboy Preacher because this is Beyond the Ramp with Cowboy Preacher. And tonight is Alpha and Beta males versus what a godly man is. And we're going to start off with this video right here and get into it.
Be a dangerous man. You can't be a good man, a fully good man, if you're not a dangerous man. It's okay, be dangerous. Now, being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. To be good is to do good to people, and sometimes doing good to people is protecting those people. Often the most dangerous man in the room is the quietest man in the room. All right? And it's not about going out and lifting weights and getting a bunch of tattoos and wearing leather jackets and walking around with your chest and shoulders up, hulking around saying, I'm dangerous. That's very rarely is that a dangerous man. Become a good man.
All right. All right. Now we're bringing in, and he is cowboyless. That's why I had to start off with the cowboy talking tonight. But he is correct. A dangerous man is what you want to be, but be able to control it. One thing I forgot, I had a shout out, and not she doesn't sponsor, but I really like helping Miss Tammy out. I did this the other night, but it's Okeechobee Rustic Company. It's all natural stuff, but I wanted to show y'all. I didn't have this the other night, but this is Go Bug Somebody Else. This is mosquito spray, and if you live in Florida, you need it, and it works. It works real good.
You know, I didn't you at one time, I thought I saw you on the beach or one of your venues or something like that. You were talking about that. It really does work.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff off of it.
Yeah, I tested it out at a mosquito infested job site.
Oh, okay.
Is what I did, and no bites.
Wow.
No bites.
Wow.
So go check her. Check her out. It's OkeechobeeRusticCompany.com. We don't get nothing from the shout out. I just want to help her out to build her business. You know, help small businesses. That's what Power Core Rods and Girls Fish Better is. So to get into it, alpha and beta male. That's our subject tonight versus what a godly man is. But preacher, I was doing some research today, and I found out that there's 7 types of dudes.
See, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that, and it's almost like genders. Like we got 32 or 99. I don't know what they are, but yeah, I found out there was 7 types of guys. They ain't just alpha beta. We got 7. So I'm gonna go through what the world sees, and I will say this little place I got WikiHow is where I got this off the internet. WikiHow male personality types.
Uh-huh.
And they had me going real good until they said at the end that the right the right wing whatever it is, they push misogyny and I was like, you know what, you had me. It was all good definitions, good way to learn how to find other of the seven traits. You know,
Right, right.
it's telling you how to do it. But then they had to go into that, and I'm like, why? Why'd you have to bring politics into it? Anyway, let me get to the definitions, and then we're going to get into some good discussions and where we both feel that the downfall or the godly man went away and the beta man appeared.
Yeah. And again, be reminded, these are the terms. See, alpha and beta has been around for years. It's only become prominent just recently that we've used the terms, but always understand from a Christian viewpoint, these are the world's terms. It's
Right,
psychologically and
right,
all this
right,
kind of
right,
stuff.
right.
So that's why we're discussing this tonight.
All right. So an alpha male, I'm just going to read the definitions, not they give pop culture examples. We're not going to do all that. So alpha males are strong-willed leaders who love to take charge, exuding charm and massimo, machismo, whatever, or
Machismo, macho. Yeah.
machoism. They're known for their natural confidence and exceptional leadership abilities. Anecdotally, alpha males are the bad boy of the male ecosystem. And you can see that that's a word, that's a crazy. Anyway, they know what they want, never back down from a fight, and aren't afraid to make waves to obtain their goals. Common personality traits: brave, high achieving, social. Careers they excel in is CEOs, manager, military general, politician. So you know which way they're going with this. But beta male, number two. Beta males are extremely kind and down to earth. Uh, shyer and more reserved. Beta males value personal relationships over material wealth or career achievements. Pop culture suggests they're great conversationalists and have a lot of success domestically.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. They're often associated with happy long term marriages. Really? I do not agree with that. But anyway, and children that adore them. Betas are communicative, creative, and make great romantic partners. Uh
Uh-huh.
huh. Common personality traits: friendly, gentle, selfless. Careers they excel at: doctor, nurse, social worker, teacher. Hmm. Okay, going on. That's number two. We still got five more of these.
See, and I didn't know that till
Yeah,
you say. I
yeah,
mean, I read that also.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I ain't even gonna get into the our corporation's personality test with birds. Birds. That's how your personality is measured. All right, gamma male. This is number three, gamma. Gamma males are the life of the party. Equally, hold on. I gotta turn on the. Don says, "Hey, Dad." Don Morse.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Roger, I hear you, buddy. I see you. So gamma males are the life of the party.
Uh-huh.
Equally creative and adventurous, they are often portrayed as fun-loving men of culture. They love to travel and believe their purpose in life is to have fun, rich, fulfilling experiences, ideally in exotic locations. Loud and bombastic, they're constantly on the move and create powerful friendships wherever they go. Common personality traits: adventurous, fun loving, goofy. that is all goofy right there. But anyway, careers they excel at: actor, event coordinator, pilot, or travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Delta male. Delta males are very responsible and keep the world moving. Thank goodness for Delta men. Highly adaptable Deltas are known for their competence and work ethic rather than their leadership and ambition. So they just follow, is what that sounds like. Delta males love learning new skills for the sake of improving themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, alphas kind of do that too. They got to improve themselves. But anyway, not for power or why are they going to use extrinsic success? Extrinsic, yeah, blah, blah. Because of this, they are often have a very healthy work-life balance. They are dependable and unpretentious. Every male friend group benefits from a Delta male. Common personality traits: hardworking, loyal, responsible. Careers they excel in: accountant, dentist, engineer, firefighter. You didn't
Wow.
know all this, did you? I didn't
No.
either. Zeta male, number 5. Zeta. I mean, we're
Zeta.
going through the sorority or the fraternity.
That sounds like it.
It sounds like a fraternity. Anyway, I guess, I mean, a male group could be a fraternity. It is in college.
It is. It's a male fraternity.
All right. So Zeta males are one of a kind progressives. There's a reason the Zeta male is the least talked about personality type in pop culture. They're rare nonconformists who don't care what other people think. They know themselves and refuse to change to fit into the rigid social standards of society. Zeta males are fierce creatives who blaze new paths for themselves and others. Common personality traits: creative, independent, self aware. Careers: actor, artist, musician, writer.
Keep on, because this is really getting interesting.
Yeah. So Sigma, and I did not know this was a term.
Yeah,
But Sigma kind of, I would say, fits me since I was reading these things. So Sigma males are confident mentors who play by their own rules. They have all the confidence of alphas, but aren't interested in power or social status. They have enough life experience to follow their own moral compass and spend their time helping other people discover their inner power. Sigma men's natural wit, intuition, and sense of persuasion are earn them the respect their peers. They though they're comfortable enough in themselves not to need it. So common personality traits: bold, nurturing, wise. Career they excel in: entrepreneur, philosopher, professor, therapist. Number 7. This is the last one, and then they do something. So number 7 is Omega male.
Oh,
Omega.
so we really are in a society.
Yes, we are in a male society.
I see.
Omega males are skilled introverts who don't need external validation.
Okay.
Pop culture portrays them as the shyer, more reserved yin to the Zeta male's yang.
Okay.
They're independent and very comfortable in their own company. I mean, kind of sounds like a Sigma, but anyway, they'd rather spend time coming up with usually brilliant new ideas and inventions of their own instead of socializing with others. They have uncouth but delightful sense of humor, and their theories often change the world for the better. Common traits: self motivated, strategic, quiet. Careers as chemist, composer, inventor, mathematician. I'm not going to read that. It's just talking about
Yeah.
keeping it in perspective. But anyway.
So I'm sitting here listening to this. I guess if there's a personification, if you built the ideal man
that women try to find, but
right,
go ahead,
that encompass all of these traits,
yes,
you would come up with Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it boils down to
if you to sit there and this is one of the problems is that women, all they hear is alpha, beta.
Yeah.
Alpha is a guy that wants to be tough and everything control and all that. Beta is a little wimp thing like that.
Or that's how they perceive.
We encompass all of those traits.
In certain percentages, yes. Yes, every male has something to do with every one of those traits.
Yeah,
it's just they have one that's higher percentage than others.
Yeah, but if you're going to be, again, going back to godly man, and if you're going to build the perfect example, it would be Jesus.
Yes,
because if you go down all of those things, he's a leader. He's tough. He run, cleared the temple.
Meek,
he
humble.
Provided. He meek, humble, all of this kind of stuff. He provided for his disciples. It just goes on and on that describes all these traits.
Right.
And what we have is the feminist movement is just calling out one trait.
Yes.
The alpha male.
Yes.
And all this.
And to go back to the cowboy that we started out with, and about being a dangerous man, and dangerous man does not mean that you're gonna threaten somebody, but you need to have the ability to be dangerous.
Right, that's part of protecting.
Right, but that's where studying, researching this today, where the word meek kept coming up, because a dangerous man is a meek man.
Yes,
where he knows he's capable of being dangerous, but I mean, he has to know he's capable of being dangerous, but does not.
He keeps it under control.
He keeps it under control, and that's where and I just wanted to read one thing on the meek thing, and then we'll get into where we think the downfall started. The one thing that one of the scriptures is, and that's the main one that everybody kind of knows, is Matthew 5:5, which Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Well, society sees meek as weak, which is not.
No.
So the reason why I wanted to bring this up, the word meek from the original language was used to describe reining in a stallion. It is the idea of a horse being controlled by a bit and bridle. The horse is choosing to submit to authority. That is meekness. It is power under constraint.
Right.
And meek, and the synonym of meek is gentleness or humble, is being humble. And I know you talked about the Beatitudes.
Right.
That humble is the block, is the foundation.
If you mourn,
right. So, all that said, let's get into how God created man, Adam.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right. So, where did this all start? If you go to Genesis 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter and so on, when we get on this podcast and discuss, I can throw out scripture, and unless you're going to follow me from a Christian, and this is the purpose of this podcast, is just kind of kick it around. And if you want to find these scriptures. You know, it's amazing to me that people want to know where is that in the scripture and all that. They got Google that can, you can Google up anything. It's the information is at the touch of your fingertips. So then they want to ask a preacher where it is in the scripture.
Right.
But let me tell you what most people don't understand. In the second chapter of Genesis, the first book, after God had created man, he set him in the garden, and he told him to take care of the garden, attend the garden. And he told him about the two trees in the garden. One is the tree of life. If you eat that, you live forever. And one is knowledge of good and evil. You're forbidden to eat that. Right?
Okay. Two trees.
That's
in
all.
The garden.
Just a choice. He gave him a choice.
Gave him everything else, the garden, everything. Tend to that. But here's your two trees that you mess with one, don't mess with the other.
Okay, but here's the whole key.
Okay.
He created Adam.
Right.
The man. He gave the man the instructions. Okay. This was for Adam to be responsible for.
Right.
Then he caused a deep sleep to come over and created woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That meant that Adam was to give the instructions
to Eve. Right.
That these are forbidden. This is my responsibility. This is what we're supposed to do, and so on. He was the one that God created for the accountability and instruction for the welfare of this world.
And that woman.
But he was to instruct that woman.
Right.
All right. So when it came to the temptation in the third chapter, we don't see Adam talking to the adversary, Satan.
He's not talking to the serpent.
No, Eve is.
He's talking.
So she usurped the authority of the man and said, I'll take care of him, baby. Now, I don't know, I don't know all, and we don't give a full description, but she simply engaged in a conversation that rightly was to be from Adam.
Right.
To be the protector.
Right.
And he stands there,
and one, she could have said, no, you need to talk to Adam.
Bingo.
But we had this conversation before because one of my buddies on TikTok from Louisiana, he brought up this idea that we're talking about that, Adam was sitting right there the whole time Eve was talking to that serpent. It wasn't like
I've heard preachers preach that
she went and got
Adam was off there plowing and tending the garden, and Eve was off by herself, and the serpent lured her off. That wasn't what happened.
Because she didn't run to go find Adam.
No.
She turned to Adam and said, hey, baby, take this apple. I'm telling you, it's good.
And when she saw all this, it says that she gave to Adam. Okay, that means he was listening to the conversation.
Yes.
But the little wimp,
yes,
the little man, he never opened his mouth and stepped in front. So, no, first of all, you don't even need to be talking to him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
I can talk with anybody.
Oh, that's the feminist today.
Yes. You don't control me.
My body, my choice.
Now, here's the thing: is that, of course, we know the fall, okay?
Right?
And to cover up that sin, because evidently God fellowshiped with them every day and walked in the garden with them. So to cover it up, they decided. I'm sure Eve chose the leaves.
Yeah.
To cover their own sin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they're caught out and God gives the punishment.
Yes.
Okay. One of the punishments, of course, was Adam, that the earth would fight. Go ahead.
But who did he call out for first? He didn't call Eve.
Yes. No.
He called for Adam because Adam is the man of the household.
Yes.
And he's the protector, and he gave the instructions to Adam. Adam is the responsible person in this.
Yes. And the Bible tells us, one, that the sin nature came through the man.
Yes.
Not Eve. She was tempted.
She was the temptation, and she was tempted.
She was tempted, but Adam knowingly and willingly
Yeah.
took of
But,
that
but
fruit.
there you go. Happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm
we
saying?
hear that all the time.
Hear that all the time.
And so I guess she said, if you want anything when you go home tonight, baby.
Yeah.
Because this is what I have to offer you.
Okay? You eat this apple?
Yeah.
It's on.
You know.
Anyway.
And somebody's going to get on here and say, well, nobody knows it was an apple or not. Y'all know what we're talking about. If you do that, you're just trolling us.
Apple, passion fruit, banana. It don't matter. It was fruit. It was from the knowledge of good and evil.
So here, because of that, and Adam's was the earth would fight against him until he dies, and he would have to work by the sweat of his brow.
Right.
He gave two punishments to Eve. One, that you would bear children in pain. And the second one was that your desire would be over your husband. Now, everybody thought, oh, she's supposed to just swoon and all this. No. It meant that the basic sinful nature, the basic nature of a woman is to have control over the man.
Yes.
Now, the paradox is that she desires the control, but once she ever gains control, she no longer respects the man because he's no longer a man. But you'll find this when a woman openly in front of friends or family corrects her husband, talks about ways dressed or makes fun of all this kind of stuff, that tells me instantly that a woman does not respect her husband.
Yes.
This is why a man come along and blow smoke and she just like that. So, but she desires that control, and it is her dependence from a Christian viewpoint, dependence on God to allow God to control that.
Yes.
Same it is a man to control him. But one step further, when the Bible tells us that sin came through the man, not the woman.
Yes.
So we've always blamed, and
the woman.
The woman.
Always blame the woman.
But it's man's responsibility, and he's neglected his responsibility.
Yes.
But going back to this right here, if you were to say anything like a trigger,
right?
Here's a trigger. And our church knows this. If any pastor gets up in any congregation, anywhere in the world, and he stands and he quotes this scripture, wives, submit unto your husbands, and just stops right there, you'll see the countenance on every woman change, because the world has convinced her, and Satan's convinced her, that submission means that you're to be servitude to your husband.
Right.
And that's not what it means. But I'm saying a woman's inner nature is to control a man, and when that submit, the word, you don't even have to quote it. You can say submit. And that sin nature of a woman, you can see it change in their count, everything else, and it triggers them that quick.
No matter how godly they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Who is he to control me? That type of thing. But he said in the New Testament, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So the responsibility of a godly man, and even a worldly man, if he'll take it, is I'm supposed to love that woman to the point that I'm to protect her, I'm to provide for her, I'm to discipline the children. These are the things. Now, do you realize that a fatherless home, he may not know these things, but it is in his nature to do that, because just like it's in the nature of a woman to control a man, it's in his nature to be the provider, protector.
Even if there's not a dad in the house.
Even if there's something in him that says, oh, whoa. Now, if you watch these videos, and it just breaks my heart where they do these crazy things like a little dog dressed as a spider runs after somebody, or a ghost appears in there and everything. And I've watched these videos, and watch the guys take off and leave their woman. That's not natural.
Yeah.
That is not natural.
No.
And
No.
that's what we've come down to.
That's the stripping the masculinity of the man in society.
We
And
feminize
masculinity.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing more and more of these women have these talks about toxic masculinity. That was a word that's been made up the last, I don't know, 10 years. I mean, it's always been there, but it's been more in your face. They keep saying toxic masculinity
right.
to do away with masculinity. But one girl I was watching, she said we need masculinity back. The toxic trait, that's just a bad person. And one of the things that Jordan Peterson said about a good man, I don't know if I have that one, but what was?
Well, he said the same thing as Cowboy did.
Mhm.
A good man has to be a dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to you read off all these things. Okay, so if the idea of masculinity, and of course we get the term alpha male from the wolf pack.
Right.
Okay, it goes back to that. Do you realize that the alpha male in the wolf pack, the leader of the pack,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have to be the biggest.
No.
He doesn't have to be way more, be tougher, but he has to have the ability to do what it takes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times the alpha male is in the back of the pack.
Yes.
To protect whatever's coming up from behind.
But if you take me, for instance, okay, I know I'm small and everything else, but my concept, don't even start with that crap. Y'all don't realize.
That's why I have my chair shorter to make him feel a little better.
See, my kids don't have respect for me. My daughter wears high heels and tries to look down on me. And anyway, so here's the thing with the our concept of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When politics came into the scripture,
mm-hmm.
it came when the people, Israel, rejected God and said, we want a king.
Yes.
Like the other nations.
Right.
And Samuel cried out to the Lord, and the Lord said, they're not rejecting you, Samuel, they're rejecting me. Okay. Now, basically, God said, if you get a king over you, mm-hmm. he's going to make you do this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we don't care. We want a king like everyone else. So here's what's unique. They chose Saul, who was taller mm-hmm. than everyone else, and the Bible said more handsome.
Well,
they chose what the figure of their concept
yes.
of a leader, of the man that they wanted. Okay. Yeah. That's what the people want. So when we look at a man, he's a football player, or he's like, I was a paratrooper. I fought. I did all the manly things.
Workout.
Right.
Oh.
But here's what's unique about this. When the kingdom was taken away from Saul and David became king,
mm-hmm.
And it came time for David to fight the Goliath.
Right.
Okay. He was a little shepherd boy in the field. His daddy, Jesse, had all these sons, and he paraded the sons out, which would have been identifiable with Saul, tall,
muscular,
big, muscular, handsome, and all that. God said the problem is that you're looking on the outside. Yeah. I'm looking on the inside.
Yeah.
That's what makes an alpha male with all these traits.
Yes.
Now, it also showed that David demonstrated all of these traits.
Yes.
And yet today we've said, well, that's an alpha male. He's all. No, it simply meant that God, the alpha male, according to the wolf pack, has got it in him to be dangerous.
Yes.
He keeps it under control.
Right.
But he has that ability that I will take you out if necessary.
If you mess with my family,
right,
I will take you out.
I will jump on you. I will set you straight. But if it comes to even taking your life, if that's what must be done, that's what I am required to do to protect.
Right.
That makes you dangerous.
Well, and that's like that girl. The girl said in that little conversation was, us ladies were looking for that man that can wrestle that alligator or kill that alligator. But she says, I don't need him to kill that alligator. I need him to be able to kill that alligator when necessary.
Absolutely.
And that's the type of man that women ought to strive to go after, instead of all the way the world sees everything. That the man is going to protect you, where she said, I can go off somewhere and I don't have to worry about it because I know what he's capable of doing.
All right. The other great example of this little wimpy, it doesn't matter how much power. Okay. The guy can be the king.
Right.
He can be the king and still is that man that does not have it in him. He is not a man at all.
Yeah.
Okay. He's feminized.
Right.
All right. Ahab and Jezebel. Ahab wanted a vineyard.
Yeah.
That belonged to Naboth. And he tried to buy it from him, and Naboth wouldn't sell it to him. And so Ahab pooched his lips and whined like a little, what.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jezebel comes up and say, don't you worry about it, baby. I'll get it for you. She ended up having him killed, see? And Ahab got the vineyard. Now, that's what I'm saying. Here's a little man, little wimp, and a woman now exerts her authority. He's not the king. I mean, she's not the king. He is.
Yeah.
But what she did, that's why Jezebel is so evil. She is just what she did. But I'm simply saying that when a man negates his responsibility as a man,
right,
when he no longer can stand, that's just like those videos. When I watch a man, when this something jumps out at him, and he leaves a woman, that's not a man, and he could be worth $1 million and in a corporate position.
Well,
but he ain't a man.
One of Jordan Peterson's quotes is, if you think tough men are dangerous, wait till you see what weak men are capable of.
Absolutely.
And that guy running away,
yes,
because he talks about the weak man will stab you in the back and will,
absolutely,
yes,
leave
the woman
he's supposed to
protect. Yes.
It's just like politics.
Yes.
Right now, we're a weak nation because we have weak leaders.
Yes.
Men who are weak.
Yes.
When you sit there, alpha male, I'm talking about according to the world. I'm not talking about all of these traits together, but an alpha male. Alpha male will draw the line in the sand.
Yes.
Don't you cross it.
Right.
Okay. He can be a little tiny shrimpy looking dude.
Yeah.
But if he draws the line and says, that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's a dangerous man, because if you cross that line,
he's capable of doing some
being a dangerous man. A beta male or weak man will draw the line and dare you to cross it. When you cross it, he'll draw another line and another line and another line.
Yeah.
He's a weak man that will not stand for principles.
No.
And that's where we are right now in our nation.
That's what we got right now. We ain't even going. We won't get into that. I mean, for politics,
but I'm just simply saying,
we are weak.
So when you have weak people, then you have a weak nation, and everything. If you have a weak man in the house, and a dominant female that is that seeks control and gains control, what kind of example? You're not raising your son up to be a strong man, because you're not a strong man.
No.
And you have a weak family.
Yeah.
And so that child sees that,
Yeah.
And that's what takes place.
And the fatherless households, and just like what's our man? He's dead now, but we see all his clips where he has the women on, and he just put Kevin Samuels. That's my
Kevin
man.
Samuel.
That's my man.
Yeah.
But he talked about, and he tells all of them. I mean, you cannot raise a boy right in a fatherless home unless he has male uncles or whatever, somebody to look up to. Now, there's some women, don't get me wrong, they have raised those boys right, but I mean, how I explain this? I mean, that's what society has become. That's what they've taken the man out of the home.
Absolutely.
And that's where the feminization was started when they started incentivizing women. Hey, you get the man out of the house, we give you money. That was what the government has done,
Absolutely.
and that, to me, besides Adam, I mean, we all know it started there, but besides that, that's where, when they started incentivizing women to not have the man in the house, is when that has, and that's what they're doing now too, to an extreme, where they don't want you to get married, where one side says get married, have kids, and raise them right, and then you got the other side, don't have kids, you don't need to be married, you can be single and go do all this stuff and be happy. But it is I don't know how you bring, I don't know how you bring the masculine back. Is all it can be is us talking about it and us mentoring other young men.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. There's a movie that just came out called The Forge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you have a chance to go see The Forge, please do so. It is an inspiring movie. But basically, what it is a single parent household, the mother run. The boy sits there and he plays. He's 19 years old, playing on that video all day long till the mother makes the decision, you're going to have to start paying me rent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means he's got to get a job. And of course, he's copped an attitude. He don't really want to work.
Right.
Okay. And the reason for it, because his daddy abandoned him and put him in the blah, blah, blah. You know the whole story. Daddy left and everything. Now you got a mama and a son.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The rest of the story is that finally he gets a job with a company where the man is a Christian man raised by, and his son was killed in a car accident when he's a teenager. And the daddy just went off the deep end, and finally his wife helped him. His wife, the helpmate,
yes,
helped him get back on track, and he found Christ, and Christ changed his life. But he began to mentor this young man.
Yes.
And they had formed, he took him to a meeting where men were mentoring their sons to be godly men, and they formed a group. But what I'm saying is that young man became, and you'll see in the movie, became a real man. The thing about it was he needed a godly man. He needed a man to mentor him because his mother could not do it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
No matter, and she was a good woman, and she was working. She was trying everything she knew to do, but a woman was not created by God to be a father. She was created to be a mother with all the maternal instincts and all the things that a woman does. She wasn't created to be a man.
Right.
And only a man can teach a young man how to be a man.
Yes.
And when you get that thing and they've taken it away from you, and men, that's just like transgenders have insulted women, because basically they're taking womanhood away from a woman.
Right.
Okay. Now the feminists are taking the manhood away from the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that's why we have such a crazy mixed up world.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, I agree.
And now we just want to cross our legs and strain under the pain because and I'm sensitive. I just want to be sensitive.
I mean, we're not supposed to sit
no,
like this.
you ain't supposed to do that. We're supposed to cross our legs. Yeah. And a woman could do this now. She can just open her legs like that.
Yeah.
You know, and we can get on a lot of other things, but let me inject something here. It's just like a man's supposed to protect a woman, you know, the danger and all that. But do you know a man also has to protect a woman from herself?
Mm-hmm.
Because a man knows a man.
Right.
Okay. So a woman may not see what a man does, but a man looks through it through the eyes of other men.
Right.
And so let's just say she's getting dressed to go out, going out with the girls, this crazy stuff, girls' night out. Now, all of a sudden, you know, ain't got any business doing that.
Right.
Because all these single guys out there and everything looking for her. All right. So he looks at her. He's looking at her as a man looks at a woman.
Right.
You don't need to be wearing that outfit. You know, what are you going at?
Right.
That blouse open or that push-up bra you got on and that little short skirt you got. Who you dressing for?
Yeah.
Baby, I'm just going out with a girl. No. See, because I know what a man thinks. And what she's doing, whether she believes it or not, she's advertising. And so he's protecting her because he's saying, baby, you look good. He ain't saying you're fatty. He's saying you're looking good. But that's for my eyes, not for everybody else's eyes.
That's right.
That booty is my booty, not yours.
That's right. So, that don't mean you got to dress like.
But the feminists say, who are you to control me? I can wear what I want to wear. I ain't going out there doing this and doing that. This is from me. I'm looking good. I want to look good. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I know these men, and you like it. You like the attention. Only I'm the one that's supposed to get your attention.
Right.
So that's where we got this. Is feminism want to emasculate the man and wants to make him more feminine. They become more masculine. And that's why we have such a mess we got in right now.
Oh, yeah, it's messed up.
But it's not necessarily Christian. You see a lot of these talk shows, videos and everything. Ladies, I'm telling you right now, men are getting tired of this mess. And there's a movement across this nation right now, even among non-Christians, that are simply saying, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of all this mess. And that's why women cannot find men that chase after them.
Yeah.
Okay? Men are tired of this mess.
The younger generation is starting to see it.
Yes.
That the Gen Z, which would be, Taylor was at the beginning of it. She's like a millennial Zen, you know.
Right.
But a lot of them are starting to see this and like, I don't need you. I mean, they're not rushing into anything.
Right.
And I'm not going to put up with that. You know.
Absolutely. Plus, as good a president as he was, Reagan create such a terrible thing for this nation.
Oh, yeah.
The no fault.
Yes.
And so it basically, the no fault divorce day simply says that, okay, a husband and wife been married 10 years, whatever. He's worked, she's worked, whatever. And they're successful in everything. She can have and go out with as many men as she wants to. But when it comes to divorce, that doesn't even enter into it. They don't even recognize that.
No. But he does it one time.
But he will lose. He'll lose everything he's got.
That's exactly right.
But we ought to change that because women want equal rights.
That's right. That was that, and I didn't realize it till the older I got. You know, until I got older. Because how old was I during the Reagan years?
Well, that was 83 in the 80s. So
I was 10, 9, 10, 11. But that was a big mistake by him.
Oh my
very,
goodness.
Very big. No fault. You know, we won't get in. I mean, one state that I do like Louisiana, if you file for divorce, they make you try to work it out for 6 months before they do anything. So you might as well buckle up if you.
Well, you know, North Carolina still has an archaic law of alienation of affection, and you can sue. Let's say a man seduces your wife, you can sue that man for alienating of affection. There was a case, guy got $1 million.
Dadgummit.
Yeah.
Man, I should have gone to North Carolina.
Yeah.
We won't get into that, but
no,
yeah.
But you understand, but what happens is a godly man is going, if Christ is the perfect example of a godly man, and Christ is in a person, you accept Christ as your Savior, He comes to live within you, then you ought to look through the Scripture, desire to allow Christ to reflect that godly man through you. That's just like I've done all I've done, and the manly things, and the cowboy and the motor, all this kind of stuff. And yet, if my wife gets hurt, which she has been hospitalized and she's been hurt, I will wait on her like a girl, hand and foot. I will be right there for her. Now, that means that I'm serving her.
Yes.
Okay. And that means that a godly man, a real man, he does whatever it takes. The difference is he can block it off, and I'd be working. I'll work. My wife gets hurt. I take care of her, but I keep on working.
Yeah.
I just block that off because I know that's my responsibility.
Right.
Okay. I bear that.
Right.
Not her.
Yeah.
I don't have other people coming. I take my responsibility, take care of her, same as she does for me.
Right.
To be my helpmate. So going back to humility, I found this recently. You know, we have the law in the Bible and the spirit of the law. Okay, which means that it was in that time.
Right.
Okay, but it doesn't mean we're in 2024 now.
Right.
And the example is foot washing.
You
know, there's churches that do foot washing all the time. But here's the thing. We have shoes now.
Yeah.
We ain't walking barefoot or with just slippers on all the time.
Right.
Back then, the host would wash the feet.
Right.
All right. We don't have that anymore.
Right.
We've gone beyond that. But I've only done it once in my ministry. Okay, in my Christian life.
Right.
I washed the feet. It is the most humiliating.
Yes.
I'm capable of taking your life if you mess with my wife.
Right.
And yet I can humble myself to wash your feet because I love you.
Right.
But don't take that meekness for weakness.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to say.
And well, I mean, we're getting close to the end.
Okay.
But so the one thing that I read that part of the about the power under constraint with the stallion and the bride.
Yeah, I love that you said power.
Yes.
Jesus could have called 10,000 angels. He had all the power in the world.
Yes.
And yet went to the cross.
Yeah.
But he had the power. He just held it under control.
And it talked about that in here, about exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
This was a good, but I wanted to end with this on how the world sees how a man should be, and then how So I'm gonna read this. This will probably be near the end, but it says, when was the last time you saw a movie that celebrated the virtue of meekness, which you probably saw Forge.
Right.
All right. So we're not counting that.
No.
So when is the last time the big build up for the movie was a moment when the good guy meekly restrains himself even though he was wronged? We don't want to go to a movie like that. We want to see a payback movie in which the first half consists of all the bad things that happened to the hero. And then the last part of the movie, all the bad things that come to people who did those things to the hero.
Yep.
That is what entertains us. That is what is in our culture. The Bible celebrates meekness. The biblical worldview says last is first, giving is receiving, dying is living, losing is finding. The least is the greatest. Meekness is a strength. The idea that we are living by God's truth, not by what our culture says, should make us happy.
Yeah.
So when if you go by those principles, and everybody say when you give and help out, it makes us feel better about ourselves.
Right. Right.
When you give to somebody else, it makes you feel good. And that's where the humility, the humble, not to be above where you're at. But anyway.
Well, here's the thing, Warren, is anybody will tell you, they'll try to put you in there. Well, I tell you, if they did that to me, bro, let me tell you what I'd do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. The Bible, and this is where you have to depend entirely on the Lord. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult thing when you want to lash out, when we talk about the old nature, the two natures, and that old nature wants to lash out. But with that comes consequences.
Oh, absolutely. Every choice is a consequence, good or bad.
And so if I catch a man with my wife, okay, I can kill him.
Yeah.
I can attack and assault him to where he wishes he was dead.
Yeah.
And I have multitudes of people that would support me.
Yeah.
The problem is the law doesn't support me.
Right.
And I will destroy and reap almost destruction on my kids, on my everything, in seeking my own vengeance of what he's saying here, the hero.
Right.
Okay, it happened to me, so I'm going to get back at him, and we're all cheering, but people don't cheer prisoners.
Well, no, and I'm going to say this for my part. Then, when you're talking about vengeance, the Lord says it's His vengeance, and I went through some things, and I call it karma, vengeance, whatever you want to call it, but and I never wish anything on anybody. And I said one day karma's going to catch up with the people. It took 19 years before something happened to them.
Yes.
And you know how I felt after? I mean, when it happened, I felt sorry for them.
Yes.
But it probably took that 19 years for that to happen for me to feel that way. Yeah. Because if it had happened early on, I'd have probably celebrated it.
Yes.
And so,
which wouldn't have helped you.
Right. It wouldn't have helped me at all.
Now, here's the thing and I'm glad you said that, because unbelievers do not understand the Christian life.
Right.
It is being born again and struggling every day, every moment till we die with that old nature that's still within us.
Yes.
Okay. The unbelievers think when I say, well, I've accepted Christ, I'm a Christian, they think it ought to be magical to the extent we don't have these thoughts,
don't have problems,
feelings, we don't have towards others vengeance and all that. No, it takes time for us to finally get it.
Oh, I'm trying to get rid of my pettiness. The older I get, I am very petty.
No.
Yeah, but
man, this has been great.
This has been a good one. And from Roger, man, you the man. I'm just gonna let you know. Appreciate all the comments. I mean, even Miss Carol got in there and said, "Preach it."
Well, if I could get her straightened out, I wouldn't have any problem.
You got Cheryl Bateman came on finally. She said she finally found it. Cheryl Jordan Bateman,
Yeah.
She says she hey, Pastor, finally got to see this.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's cool.
So anyway, I appreciate Roger, appreciate you watching. Clayton, Miss Bateman, appreciate y'all tuning in. And
Oh, can I say one
Yeah.
more thing? Okay. When we do these, understand when we're talking about this stuff, your situation might be a terrible thing, but understand we're talking about generally
Yeah.
because we can always find the exception.
Yeah.
My husband or my wife did this or my husband did. That's, but that's not general to
Right.
overall.
Right.
So
Right.
don't think that we might be attacked in certain one because your
Yeah.
situation is different. No, it might be the exception to the
And
rule.
I want to say, I mean, if you got any questions or you want to talk to Cowboy Preacher here about any of this, I listed the email this time in the description. It's theboatramp24@gmail.com. Just put Beyond the Boat Ramp or put Cowboy Preacher in the subject line so we know what, you know, which one you were watching because I have multiple of these podcasts. So,
Oh, and tell us what y'all are interested
yeah,
in.
you know, if there's anything you want us to discuss, talk about, please email us, even message us on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, X. I have all that listed in the description. Also, tune in tomorrow night is my fun night with Dan the Man, two guys, one doc, and it's only 30-minute show. And I think I think the question is, and Clayton's probably just gonna get a hat just for what he said.
Oh, well,
Uh, but it's what would a fisherman never say?
yeah.
And y'all hear what Clayton said if you tune in tomorrow. So, hey, I appreciate y'all being with us, and
See y'all later.
we'll see y'all next Thursday.